watching, yes, the Yankees Entertainment and Sports Network.
It is the final game of the regular season, game 162, and still a lot on the line on an overcast Sunday here in Baltimore. And it is time for baseball as Hyundai presents the Sunday game of the week. Today it's the New York Yankees against the Baltimore Orioles in the final game of a 3-game set from Oriole Park at Camden Yards. Hello, everybody, and welcome to Yankees Baseball along with Ken Singleton. I'm Michael Kay. The Yankees still looking for that elusive win that will guarantee that the wild card game will be played at Yankee Stadium on Tuesday. It has not been a good week for them whatsoever. Take a look. They've won just 1 of 6 games, average just over 3 runs a game. The batting average not good, and the average with runners in scoring position terrible, and the ERA 6.33. So despite all that negativity, Kenny, the bottom line is if the Astros lose today or if the Yankees win, the Yankees do host that game on Tuesday.
Well, this kind of reminds me of earlier this week on Thursday night. They had lost 3 in a row to the Boston Red Sox. Really looked bad in those 3 games, and they needed a win just to get into the playoffs. Well, they won that game on Thursday, guaranteeing a playoff position. But now, I know Texas is nice this time of year, but I really don't want to go there. I don't think the Yankees want to go there either.
Well, let's see who's going to try to stop that. We'll take a look at the pitching matchup today. Brought to you by People's United Bank NA. See what know-how can do for you. Chris Tillman will get the start for the O's. And for the Yankees, it's Michael Pineda. Big start for Pineda, and he has to bounce back from what was a real bad beginning of his previous start.
Yeah, that was a game against the Boston Red Sox earlier this week, and Pineda, the first inning was just, I guess he would even call it horrible. The Red Sox teed off on him. He gave up 6 runs in the first inning, capped off by this 3-run home run by Blake Swihart, the rookie catcher for the Boston Red Sox. But from that point on, he's settled down somewhat. Made better pitches during the course of the game, actually got into the 6th inning, but the Yankees still lost that ball game against the Boston Red Sox. He's trying to bounce back today.
So a lot on the line today at Camden Yards. When we come back, lineups, first pitch, baseball, Yankees, Orioles next, right here on Yes. Fall is your chance to get a touchdown dance-worthy deal on the 2015 Hyundai Sonata. By People's United Bank NA, putting the power of know-how to work for you. And by the New York Lottery. Hey, you never know. Looks like the rain will hold up. We'll be able to get in the final game of this 3-game set. Now, why don't we take a look as the Orioles have taken the field at the Yankees starting lineup, presented by Lexus. Jacoby Ellsbury in center will lead off, batting second and playing left field, Brett Gardner. The DH is Alex Rodriguez. He'll hit third. Cleaning up right fielder, Carlos Beltran. Brian McCann will catch. He'll bat fifth. Batting sixth, playing first base, Greg Bird. Chase Headley at third base will bat seventh. Batting eighth, playing second base, Dustin Ackley. And the shortstop, Didi Gregorius, is going to bat ninth. So the Yankees use their A lineup for a win that they have to have.
So Joe Girardi has his team out there ready to go in game number 162. They'll be facing Chris Tillman, 27-year-old right-hander for the Orioles. There are his numbers on the year, 10 and 11, ERA up there over 5. Let's check out the pitcher scouting report brought to you by your Tri-Honda dealers. Starter and closer. Well, he actually started opening day for the Orioles, and he's closing the season, pitching game number 162, and he's got 52 wins. For current manager Buck Showalter, it's the most of any pitcher under Buck, and getting even. He's trying to get to 11 and 11, and if the Orioles win today, they'll finish at 500, 81 and 81.
Let's do it here in Baltimore, and there's a strike. We are underway. Mark Wegner is the home plate ump. Sam Holbrook at first. Marty Foster at second. Mike Malinsky is over at third. The 0-1 to Ellsbury. 0-2.
One of the problems for Tillman this year has been the inconsistency of his breaking ball. He's only had one start against the Yankees this year, and he lost. That was back at Yankee Stadium on May the 7th. Yankees won that game 4-3.
And the 0-2. Fly ball center field. Reimold. Late jump coming on. Diving and making the play. One away. He took a hit away from Ellsbury.
It appeared that Reimold took a false step backwards and then had to recover, but had enough speed to make the play. That play was actually harder, not as hard as he made it, but he's able to come up with it and make the catch with the all-out effort. Here it is on Yesmo, brought to you by your Mercedes-Benz Tri-State dealer.
Orioles are not going to the playoffs. The Yankees are, but the Orioles have something to play for today. They're trying to end the season at 81 and 81, a 500 record. And the pitch to Gardner is a strike. Buck Showalter managing this game with a heavy heart. Fly ball left field. Pierce puts it away for the second out. His mom, Linnea, died last night, and Buck has not slept all night. Got word of it short time after the game. He told me his mom watched the game and passed away about a half hour later.
Condolences to Buck and his family. You're right, it's got to be a tough time for Buck today.
Here's A-Rod.
A-Rod's got good numbers against Tillman. He's hit 4 home runs against him.
Tillman deals. Breaking ball inside. 2-0 to A-Rod. Alex has 7 hits in his last 22 at-bats. He's hitting .252, 33 homers, and 86 runs batted in. Let's look at the Orioles defense presented by Geico. Pierce, Reimold, and Parra left to right in the outfield. In the infield, Machado, Hardy, Flaherty, and Davis. That's third to first, and Matt Wieters behind the plate with Chris Tillman on the mound. Let's see if they green light A-Rod. There's a strike taking. Likes to hit against Tillman. 6 for 12 and 4 of the 6 home runs.
Well, he's got a big hitters count right here.
Except for the St. Louis and Atlanta game. And you see how he just missed this, which was a doubleheader because of a rainout yesterday, and the first game started early. Every other game in Major League Baseball starting right about now, which is becoming a tradition on the final day of the season, so no one backs in, and the drama is heightened as the games move along. 3-2. And A-Rod works a walk.
So early wake-up calls on the West Coast.
Yes. Let's take a look at the game time weather presented by Bigelow Tea. It's 58 degrees. See the wind, 76% humidity, cloudy and cool. There's no rain expected. Here's Carlos Beltran as A-Rod leads off first. 3 infielders on the left side. Flaherty in shallow right field. And the pitch is low and away, 1-0.
Yeah, Beltran had a 5-game hitting streak snap last night. Certainly been doing his part of late for the Yankees.
Two and 0.
The Yankees did not have the lead in either one of the first 2 games of the doubleheader last night. It'd be nice to get out in front. Just jump out in front. Give Pineda a few runs to work with. Take the pressure off of him.
3-0. Strike to Beltran. Just underway here in Baltimore. The Yankees and the O's. 3-1. That one is hammered to right field. Parra back. He's going to play it off the wall and run over his head. Plays to Karen. A-Rod is going to stop at third. Beltran will stop at first. And the Yankees have runners on the corners with 2 outs.
Well, Parra did a pretty good job of playing that ball off the wall and getting it back in. The hold A-Rod at third, hold Beltran at first base. Solid line drive. Looked like Parra might have a shot at it. Boy, beautiful swing, line drive. He has to chase it down a little bit, but Alex Rodriguez not the speediest of base runners, certainly not the speed he used to have. And he's going to make it to third base. But the Yankees have a chance here to break out in front.
Well, to say that Brian McCann is due might be understating. He's 0 for his last 18. His batting average since the All-Star break is 199, and that's the game's lowest. Still has 94 ribbies. High fly ball, right field. Jumped on the first pitch, and a fly ball to Parra, and the Yankees leave 2 runners on. No runs to hit, no errors, and the 2 men left. Yankees nothing. And Baltimore Orioles coming to bat. They're starting on presented by your local Acura dealer. Nolan Reinbold in center field will lead off. Batting second and playing right field, Gerardo Parra. Manny Machado, the third baseman, hits third. Cleaning up, first baseman Chris Davis. Matt Wieters will catch. He'll bat fifth. Batting sixth, playing left field, Steve Pierce. Steve Clevenger, the DH, will bat seventh. Batting eighth, playing shortstop, J.J. Hardy. And Ryan Flaherty, the second baseman, is going to bat ninth.
Nolan Reinbold awaits his turn. There's Buck Showalter, the Orioles manager, and Michael Pineda is on the mound for the Yankees today. 12-9 on the year, the 12 wins, a career high. You can see the rest of the numbers. Opponents hitting 276. Let's check out the pitcher scattering report brought to you by your Honda dealers. Sweet 16. You go back to May 10th at Yankee Stadium, and Pineda struck out 16 Orioles, didn't walk a batter, in a 6-2 Yankee win that tied the Yankee record for strikeouts by a right-handed pitcher in a ball game. And +2. Here's something I found out during his time with the Yankees. When he has a lead of at least 2 runs in a game, he is 16-0. And this year, if he completes 6 innings, the Yankees are 13-4. One of those losses came in his last start.
Pitch to Reinbold is a strike. You know, one of the lines in your scouting report, Kenny, is the 16 strikeouts. You see Albert Pujols with a 2-run home run in the top of the first. Angels jump out to a lead over Texas. And if you go back to that 16 strikeout game against the O's, he has not been the same. You look at his numbers from that point on, he has not been the same. He also went on the DL at a point after that, too.
7 innings pitched, 6 hits, 1 run, no walks, 16 strikeouts. That was May the 10th.
The 0-2. That home run by Pujols off Cole Hamels. It's Garrett Richards starting on short rest for the Angels, and Cole Hamels starting for Texas. The 1-2. Foul back. And the other game that the Yankees and their fans care about, Houston and Arizona. It's the young Lance McCullers against Robbie Ray of the Diamondbacks. A lot of permutations out there, but it's this simple. The Yankees win, the game on Tuesday is at Yankee Stadium. The Astros lose, the game is at Yankee Stadium. And that's as simple as we can get. There's tie-breaking situations in that battle for the final wild card and for the West, so we'll get into that as we move along. Strike 3, Reinbold down looking. Why don't we check out the Yankees defense, which is presented by Geico. In the outfield, Gardner, Ellsbury, and Beltran. That's left to right. Infield, Headley, Gregorius, Ackley, and Bird. Third to first. McCann behind the plate. And we told you all about Michael Pineda on the mound. Here's Gerardo Parra.
It was tough for the Yankees to get out yesterday. He had 6 hits in the doubleheader, including a beautiful bunt single during the winning rally in the second game. And if you notice, Chase Headley at third base, well in on the grass.
One. Orioles 80 and 81. The Yankees have 87 wins on the season. Orioles, the American League East champions last year. They will not make the playoffs this year. 1-1. And what's the difference? Dan Duquette said the runs scored almost the same as last year, maybe 1 run different coming into this game. He said, but the amount of runs we've given up has really gone up, so we have to concentrate on pitching next year. Base hit for Parra. Dan Duquette is the GM of the O's.
7 hits for Parra. He doesn't want the season to end. Not a bad slider down and away. This guy hits from line to line.
Here's Manny Machado appearing in his 162nd game of the year. He is the only player in baseball that will appear in every game this season.
Here's another guy who doesn't want the season to end. He's hit 5 home runs in his last 4 games. 1 in each of the games of the doubleheader last night. Or yesterday.
Showalter said he spoke with Machado when the streak hit about 140 this year. And Machado said, I really would like to play in all the games if that's possible. And Buck said, okay, let's see how it goes, but I will try to get you in every single game. And he also said that he spoke to Manny and said, when you're an old man one day and you're going to accomplish great things in this game, you are a star, and he's also a Yankee killer. He said, you're going to tell your grandchildren about 2015 when you played in every single game. He said, believe me, that's not going to happen often anymore. He said, people just don't allow players to play every day. Kenny, you tell your grandkids about 73, right? You played every game?
I played every game. I think there was one game I didn't start, but I got into the game. And just when I came to the ballpark, I was ready to play. You know, let's do this. I'm sure Manny has a lot of that in him.
Runner goes. Swung and a miss. Throw to second. And Parra is safe. So a stolen base for Parra.
That is his 6th stolen base with Baltimore since coming home from Milwaukee. And he's 6 out of 7.
I think they're sending him back for some reason. I just saw the umpire at home plate say go back to first base. So maybe Machado interfered with him, and here comes Showalter to talk with Wegner.
Yep, the bat hit McCann on the follow through. So erase that stolen base. Where's that whiteout? Thought I was going to get through today without it.
Now Girardi will get an explanation from the home plate ump.
Here's another look, overhead camera. I guess that's enough.
Wow. I've seen guys fall across the plate and not get called. They're calling it swing interference on the throw. And now,
wait a minute.
The third base ump wants to talk with Wegner, and now all 4 umps are going to talk this over. Diamondbacks take a 1-0 lead over the Astros. The Yankees will be following that closely. A.J. Pollock with a home run. So everything's settled. Runners back at first. And the 2-2. High pop-up. Shallow right center. Beltran's there to make the play for the second. Here's Chris Davis. 45 home runs on the year. In all likelihood, this is his final game as a Baltimore Oriole.
Yeah, a lot of the fans standing here, ones, at least the ones clad in orange. And I think they realize that it's going to take a big number to sign him over the winter.
Free agent at the end of this year, and the Orioles have a lot of them. The guy at first is a free agent, Parra. Davis, the guy on deck, Wieters. The guy who pitched the first game yesterday, Wei-Yin Chen.
The guy following Wieters, Pierce. there's quite a few. You know, this year they let Nelson Cruz go, a guy who hit plus home runs. And if it's 2 years in a row that somebody had hit 40, that's a lot of home runs to replace. And Cruz did it again. Hit 40 plus in Seattle, a much bigger ballpark.
Now, the Orioles are always concerned about losing their players because they don't want to compete in the free agent market. Manny Machado, their young star, said that he would be open to talking about an extension. He's at least 3 years away from being a free agent.
Yeah. But I think this is the first year he's arbitration eligible, so he's going to do okay. Only the second Oriole ever to hit as many as 30 home runs and have 20 stolen bases in the same year. The only other one to do that was Brady Anderson.
Shift is on for Davis. 3 infielders on the right side. Parra leads off first with 2 outs. The 1-2 is ripped down the right field line. It's a fair ball. It'll go into the corner. Let's see if they send Parra. No, they hold him up as Beltran got the ball quickly into Didi Gregorius. So a double for Davis. Runners on second and third.
Ball disappears down that corner down there, and from our vantage point, you can't really see it. That's where they keep a lot of the equipment for the ground crew. And somehow, Beltran's able to navigate it pretty well. Get the ball back in quickly. It wasn't rambling around out there, and Gregorius has a strong arm, and Bobby Dickerson, the third base coach, held Parra at third. So each team with a chance here in the first inning.
Now here's Wieters. Texas gets a run back in the bottom of the first inning. It's Angels 2 and the Rangers 1. Now Wieters has been alternating with Caleb Joseph behind on plate. A couple of weeks ago, he went to Buck Showalter and said, I would really like to play in the final game of the year because he knows that this could be it for his time as an Oriole. Recovering from Tommy John surgery. And Showalter said wherever he catches next year, he is a 130 game catcher.
So he's already saying that this is it.
Well, he could end up here. He said wherever he ends up, he's a 130 game catcher.
Okay. Former All-Star, Gold Glove catcher, known for his ability to handle a pitching staff.
Two and two on Wieters. We're in the bottom of the first inning in Baltimore. The Yankees didn't score in the top of the first. They had 2 runners on. And the O's were threatening in the bottom of the first with runners on second and third. Line drive, base hit down the right field line. 2 runs will score. Wieters stops at first. Beltran gets the ball in, and the Orioles lead 2-0.
Kind of a hanging breaking ball that Wieters jumps on, lines it over the head of Bird down the first base side. You can see it's about thigh high. Bird with the effort. Couldn't get high enough as the ball hits down the line, and Baltimore breaks out in front. Second straight game that Pineda's had problems in the first inning.
It has been that sort of week for Joe Girardi and his crew. 1-5 so far this week. Here's Pierce. 1-0.
Before the pitch, you saw McCann give the low target. hit his glove on the ground. He wanted it down. It wasn't there.
That one's popped up. Ackley will make the play, and that will do it. But the O's scored 2 on 3 hits. 1 man left. We've played 1. It's 2-0 Baltimore. Official hybrid vehicle of the Yankees. We asked, do you like how Major League Baseball originally scheduled all games to start in the 3 p.m. hour today? And Ali NYA Yankees says yes. It adds to the excitement as final races for postseason spots and home field advantage occur at once. And I agree with Ali. Follow Yes Network and tweet us your responses using hashtag Yankees Prius to keep the conversation going. Greg Bird leads off and takes a strike from Chris Tillman. Driven out to left field and deep. Going back, Pierce on the run into the corner. It's a fair ball, and it bounces into the seats for a double for Bird.
Well, first of all, Pierce is playing over towards left center field with the left-handed hitting Bird at the plate. And Pierce almost stumbled and fell over, but this would have been a ground rule double anyways. It bounds into the seats, and Bird's on with a 2-base hit.
Here's Chase Headley.
You know, one of the interesting notes we had today is Headley is one of 5 active major league players who've played at least 1,000 career regular season games without ever appearing in the postseason. Well, that's going to change this year for him.
And for a couple of other guys on that list. The 1-0. Chopped to first. Played there by Davis. Flips to Tillman for the first out as Bird moves to third. All right, let's take a look at the playoff scenario brought to you by your local Chevy dealer. First, the wild card. Yankees are game up over the Astros. So the Yankees win. The Astros can't catch them, obviously, in the loss column. The game will be Tuesday. Now, here are the other scenarios. Texas can clinch the West with a win or an Astros loss. The Astros can clinch a wild card with a win or an Angels loss. And the Angels can clinch a tie for the wild card with a win and an Astros loss. Got all that? And that would also result in a tie-breaking game on Monday. All right, so the Astros clinch a tie for the West with a win and a Rangers loss. Ackley grounds one to second. That'll score Bird. Nice play by Flaherty as he guns down Ackley, who picks up an RBI. And now the Orioles have a 2-1 advantage.
Ackley almost snuck that one through for a base hit. Good play by Flaherty, an off-balance throw, and a good stretch on the other end by Chris Davis. As you can see, Bird scoring the first run for the Yankees. So the Orioles' lead has been cut in half quickly here in the second inning. Getting that runner in from third with less than 2 outs.
And the other players on the list that Kenny was talking about, along with Headley, that have not played in the postseason with at least 1,000 career regular season games: Alex Rios, Jose Bautista, Edwin Encarnacion, and Adam Lynn. And all but the Brewers' Lynn are poised to play in the postseason this year for the first time. And Lynn said, "I used to be on that Blue Jay team. I should be going." But that trade helped them. Marco Estrada was a big part of what they've done.
I know he won at least 13 games, maybe 14.
Gregorius fouls it off. Also, strange happenings for the Blue Jays today. Now, the Blue Jays want to have the best record in the American League because then they would play the winner of the wild card game. Right now, the Royals are a game ahead of the Blue Jays. If they finish tied, the Blue Jays have the tiebreaker, so they would have the best record. But they're starting Mark Burley today. And Burley is pitching just 2 innings because that would give him 200 for the year, and then he's retiring.
200 innings?
Yes.
So he was like 14 straight years?
Yes.
200 innings?
There's a base hit for Gregorius. Cut off in the gap by Reimold, but Gregorius heads to second, and he'll make it with a double. Now, Joey Butler just hit a grand slam off of Burley, so it's 6-0. Kenny, that's why, I mean, I understand doing nice things, but that's a game that you need to win to have home field, and you're going to keep him in there for 2 innings no matter what so he can get to 200?
Well, the fact is that Burley's been struggling.
Yeah.
Because he's had a couple of cortisone shots in his shoulder. He's not the same pitcher. You know, I was listening to a game the other day while driving, and they said his fastball was like 83 miles an hour.
And they had already told him he was not making the postseason roster.
So they give him a chance for the 2 innings?
I don't know if they're going to take him out.
And they're down 6-0.
Yeah. So Wieters goes out and talks with Tillman, who's gone 1-0 on Ellsbury. Yankees have the tying run at second in Gregorius.
Well, we've talked about this all season long and in seasons past. Now, 2-out hits really give a team a boost. We saw the Baltimore Orioles get one in the bottom of the first with Wieters.
Two and one on Ellsbury. And Kansas City leads Minnesota 3-0, top of the second.
I can understand if the Twins not into it today because they were eliminated yesterday.
Yep.
So maybe a lot of the September call-ups getting a chance to play.
So if these scores stay the same, whoever wins on Tuesday will play the Kansas City Royals, defending American League champions in the ALDS. 3-1. 3-2 on Ellsbury. Luis Severino pitched yesterday. Gave the Yankees 7 innings. Pitched well. Left tied 3-3. Swing and a miss. Got the fastball by Ellsbury. And that will do it. But the Yankees get a run on 2 hits. They lead 1. We'll go to the bottom of the second. Orioles 2, Yankees 1.
Afternoon's injury report brought to you by Montefiore Medical Center, Montefiore Inspired Medicine. Nathan Eovaldi was out on the field earlier today playing catch. He's expected to throw a bullpen session tomorrow. Joe Girardi has already ruled him out for Tuesday's wild card game, but should the Yankees advance past that, he said he would be a potential option for that ALDS roster. That's as long as he doesn't have any issues with the arm from now until then. Also, Stephen Drew is still out with the concussion. He is not expected back this season.
Thank you, Meredith. We go to the bottom of the second inning. Steve Clevenger fouled off the first pitch from Pineda. Count 0-1. 2-1 Orioles. And a soft ground ball to first base. Greg Bird grabs it right before it would hit the bag and steps on the bag for the first out.
Yeah, good hustle play by Bird to get there. The ball looked like it was hooking and might have gone foul just before the bag. See Clevenger over the top. As you're a hitter, you do this, you're just hoping it gets foul. But Bird with the hustle got it in fair territory. You see both umpires singling fair. Yeah, but it is close. Caught it as he was right on the bag.
Here's J.J. Hardy. And a strike. Tampa Bay now leads 7-0, still batting in the bottom of the first inning against Burley. Fly ball, center field. Ellsbury will make the play for the second out.
Well, the Yankees can only hope that Pineda settles down like he did in the start against the Boston Red Sox, although not quite as a poor first inning as it was against the Red Sox in New York when he gave up 6, but he struggled a little bit in the first inning. 2 runs, 3 hits.
Here's Ryan Flaherty, 1 hit in his last 20 at bats. Pitch high, 1-0.
Flaherty is fighting today, keep his average over 200, comes in at 202.
Foul back, 2-1. Bottom of the second inning, Arizona 1, the Astros 0. back. Top of the second. LA Angels 2, Texas 1. Fly ball, deep left center, backing up Ellsbury on the track. He makes the play for the final out of the inning as Pineda retires the Orioles in order. 1, 2, 3. Speaking of 3, we go to the third. 2 1-0s. Secure the best seat locations for the 2016 season. In addition, as a new season ticket holder, you'll enjoy significant savings and flexible payment options. Your legacy starts now with 2016 season tickets. Call 212-YANKEES or email seasontickets@yankees.com today. Brett Gardner will lead off the third inning with the Yankees trailing by 1, 2-1 O's on the Audi A3 scoreboard. Pitch gets away from Wieters. It's 1-0. Gardner with a fly ball to left. That was in the first inning. Machado right on the lip of the grass at third. Rest of the defense straight away. Pitch is high, 2-0.
Yeah, Tillman's style of pitching, it's sort of like a elongated stretch position. He's allowed to move with nobody on base. And it's more compact because his control was off before. He had a longer delivery. So they shortened it, and he's had more success, although it really hasn't shown in the numbers this year for him with an ERA over 5.
Gardner hitting .210 since the All-Star break. And that's the third worst mark in the game. So Gardner and McCann have really struggled since the break. The 2-2. Strike 3. Gardner down looking.
Second strikeout for Tillman. Now Gardner got a hit on the count. 2-0, and then took 3 strikes. And that ball definitely had a lot of plate. It's almost as if he was looking for something else.
Here's A-Rod. Tampa Bay now leads 9-0 over Toronto, top of the second. So 9 runs in the bottom of the first inning. That's going to be tough for a guy like Burley, who's been a proud professional, and that's going to be his final memory in the big leagues. Won a championship with the White Sox.
Gold Glove winners, pitched a perfect game.
A-Rod grounds one to Machado. 2 outs. There's Beltran, who singled over the head of Parra in right field in the first inning. That moved A-Rod to third, but McCann hit a fly ball to right to end that threat. The Yankees got a run in the second, a double by Bird. He moved to third on a ground ball to first by Headley, and then scored on Dustin Ackley's ground ball to second. That's the Yankee run. The 0-1. 1-1.
Yeah, we mentioned this in the scouting report, but it bears repeating that Tillman has 52 wins, and his 52 wins all under Buck Showalter as an Oriole. That's the most wins any pitcher's ever had for Buck. And you think of all the good pitchers that Buck Showalter's had over the years, but Tillman's the #1 on the list. And Tillman came over in that celebrated trade along with Adam Jones from Seattle for Eric Bedard. That really worked out in Baltimore's favor. You also got George Serrell in that, and he was a closer for a while here in Baltimore.
And Beltran walks.
Second straight year McCann's going to lead the Yankees in runs batted in, but you know, his totals kind of show you how the Yankee offense improved this year. 94 this year, only 75 led the team last year.
Ground ball by McCann. And it's fielded by Hardy for the final out of the third. No runs, no hits, no errors, and 1 man left. We go to the bottom of the third. Tri Honda dealers, hurry to your local Tri Honda dealer for great deals on the 2015 models. All right, update from Arizona. Springer just drove in Altuve, and it's a 1-1 game. Astros and the Diamondbacks. Again, to repeat, the Yankees win the game on Tuesday is at home. The Astros lose the game on Tuesday is in the Bronx. Either of those two things happen. They don't both have to happen. Audi A3 scoreboard, 2-1 O's as we go to the bottom of the third. One and 0 on Reimold. 1-1.
Yeah, Reimold's an interesting story with the Orioles. We mentioned he came up in the Orioles system, but injury after injury plagued him. He went and played for a couple other teams, Toronto being one of them. Signed with the Orioles as a minor league free agent, came up with the big leagues this year, and there are some who feel he's done enough to be on a team next year. So be interesting. He's got some tools. He can play all three outfield positions, has speed, has some power. And there are those around here who would say he has 9 lives because of all the injuries. Been out for lengthy periods of time. A couple of surgeries on his neck. I think a knee surgery.
Fouled off.
But he keeps coming back.
The 2-2. Grounded up the middle and through for a base hit. So a leadoff single for Reimold. And here's Parra. Ripped in front of the Oriole dugout. Luckily, there's a screen there. Bottom of the third, 2-1 O's. Doubleheader sweep by Baltimore yesterday, 9-2 and 4-3. 9-2 in the day game and 4-3 in the nightcap. Nub foul.
Severino, Luis Severino pitched very well in the second game. 7 innings, 3 runs allowed. Once again, the Yankees had a few chances to take the lead. Didn't happen.
Kenny off that start, and I don't think he really needed that start. If the Yankees are fortunate enough to win the wild card game, Severino's probably starting game 1 of the ALDS. That would be on Thursday, so that would be normal rest. The 0-2 swing and a miss. Parra down on strikes.
And finally, we'll get Parra out. Second strikeout for Michael Pineda. Let's see how he gets him here. Like a changeup.
Well, you look at Pineda on the mound, he is a myriad of twitches and turns and stretches. And always looks like he's in some kind of discomfort. That's just Michael on the mound. Talks to himself a little bit. A stretch and a wind, twitch. Swing and a miss.
Every pitcher has their own style, and it's, you know, sometimes you can look out of the bullpen, you can't quite see whose number it is, but you can tell who the pitcher is by the way he's throwing the ball. Unique windups, unique deliveries.
Runner goes, fouled away. Now I don't know if it comes across on your television, but Pineda is a big man. You stand next to him, you feel like you're standing next to a football player. He's gigantic.
Big Mike.
Oh, 2 on Machado. Swing and a miss, got him. Third strikeout of the game for Pineda.
Back-to-back punch-outs, and there's his signature pitch. Good slider down and away to a right-handed hitter, and low and into a lefty.
There's Chris Davis. He doubled to right in the first inning. And came around to score on Weeder's 2-run single just inside the right field line.
And the shift is on with Davis, but the Yankees do it a little bit differently. They have Gregorius situated out in right field. A little more range and a better arm than Ackley. It's a longer throw from out there.
Boy, Davis does not get cheated on the swings.
No, he's 45 homers, over 200 strikeouts. I think 207. Both league leading totals.
So 1 and 2 on Davis.
You get a lot of both with him.
Ripped into the seats, foul.
And if he indeed is playing for another team, the people out there on Utah Street, which is between the warehouse and the stadium, they're going to miss him. Nobody's hit more home runs out on the Utah Street than Chris Davis. He's hit 8 of them out there. That's beyond the flag court, which you're looking at now.
It'll be certainly a safer street to walk if he's not here. 1-2. Our very own Paul O'Neill hit one out there.
Yeah, he did. Caught up with one of Arthur Rhodes' fastballs and sent it out to Utah Street. EUTAW. Utah.
2 balls, 2 strikes, 2 outs. Pitch. Swing and a miss. 3 strikeouts for Pineda following the Reinbold single. No runs a hit, no errors, and 1 man left. We go to the 4th, 2-1-0s. For their quest for 28th World Series title every step of the way. Tuesday night, don't miss the Tri-State 4 Yankees pregame show as we get you set for the American League wildcard game. Now, coverage begins at 7 p.m. right here on Yes, the network that knows the Bombers best. We'll also have post-game coverage following the wildcard game and pre- and post-game shows before and after every playoff game as the Yankees move along. Greg Bird leads off. And a breaking ball strike. 0-1. Lincoln scoreboard 2-1 O's over the Yankees. Bird doubled to left and came around to score the Yankees' only run in the second inning. Popped up. And that's in the seats out of play. Bird finishing strong. Just a kid, but with his double, he's 8 for his last 20. And his average up to 260. There really is nothing more that you could have asked for him to do when Teixeira went down for the season.
Well, he's hit more home runs than anybody on the team since he's been here. Had a big one against the Red Sox the other night. That was in the Yankees' clinching game that got them to the postseason.
Swing and a miss. Bird down on strikes.
Kind of tied him up. Up and in as Bird follows through, doesn't make contact.
Kenny, I was just thinking as you said that about the game against the Red Sox. Can you even imagine the enormous pressure that would be on this team if the Yankees didn't win that game? Because at least all they're worried about now, are we playing at home on Tuesday or on the road? They'd be worried whether or not they're making the playoffs. They're 1-5 this week, but the one was a big one. Count 1-1 on Headley.
Yeah, I remember when that series started in our open to the ball game. We were talking about gaining momentum.
Yep.
Going into the playoffs. Well, that's not going to be the case.
Well, this reminds me a little bit, Kenny, of 2000.
Yeah.
When they also won 87 games and they finished 3-15 in their final 18 games, and they ended up winning the World Series. That was a little different team, though, Kenny. That was a team that was starting to come toward the end of its run.
Yeah, and they'd been there before, and once they got to the postseason, they knew what to do.
Bottom of the third, Angels 2, Texas 1. Fastball just missed outside. That's Richards against Hamels.
I thought I read this morning that the Texas Rangers have not lost the game that Hamels has started since he's gotten it.
Swing and a miss. Headley down on strikes.
Fourth strikeout for Tillman. 3 of the 4 swinging. Good breaking ball, drops down. Right over the top of his head. He foul tipped it into the glove of Wieters.
Here's Dustin Ackley with 2 outs in the 4th. One and 0. Two and one with the 2 strikeouts this inning, 4 for the game for Tillman. now 2-2. Tillman's just 27 years old from California. 6'5", 210 pounds.
He gives all appearances of being an ace-type pitcher, #1 on the staff.
Lined into center field. And it gets past Reimold, and it will go to the wall. Ackley's going to get 3 at least. He heads to third, and he will stop right there with a stand-up triple.
Well, we saw Reimold dive earlier in the ball game and made a catch. This time, this ball had too much on it. Ackley has done a good job since coming over from Seattle. It hits a rocket towards the gap in right center. Reimold's going to lay out and come up, well, way short. Dives for it. Ball's going to go to the wall, and it's going to turn a double into a triple.
So now the tying run is 90 feet away for Didi Gregorius.
Yankees have 4 hits in the game. 2 doubles, a triple, and a single. And Didi has one of the doubles.
And the Orioles also have 4 hits. Yankees have left 4 runners on base. The O's 2. The 1-0. Strike, 1-1. Ackley at third. .13 for his last 38. Gregorius could not hold up in the count 1-2.
Yeah, a little too anxious there.
Fastball upstairs, and it's 2-2 with 2 outs. Tillman 5-6 with a 5.06 ERA against the Yanks. This is his 16th career start against them. He's 2-2, 3.14 in 7 starts here against the Yankees. 2-2, 3-2. Tillman struggled against the American League East this year. 3-8, 7.07, and now 16 starts against AL East opponents. Yankees want to make those numbers worse. 3-2. Fouled away.
He's not the only Oriole that struggles against the East. I think Wei Yin Chen has a losing record against Eastern Division teams as well. Orioles just 1 game over against their own division.
Did he go? No, he did not. And Gregorius works a walk and passes the baton to Ellsbury.
We get another look. Boy, that was very, very close. That's one of those ones that could have gone either way, and one side's not going to be happy. Simple as that. But for the Yankee standpoint, they have another man on base and turn it over to Ellsbury.
Ellsbury's 0 for 2. Runners on first and third. And a strike.
Once again, the 2-out scenario presents itself for the Yankees.
Swing and a miss. 0-2. Ellsbury fly ball to center in the first. Nice diving play by Reimold after he got a late jump, and then a strikeout in the second. And the 0-2. Blocked by Wieters, 1-2.
Yeah, Tillman trying to get Ellsbury to chase again. He chased the previous pitch that was out of the zone. Heard John Flaherty talk about it. You got to trust your catcher, but be able to block the ball. Wieters one of the best.
Grounded to first. Davis is there, and the Yankees strand 2 again. No runs a hit, no errors, and 2 men left. It's been the story of this week. They have been unable to get the big hit. BB Mason presents the Joe Girardi Show as the Yankee manager reflects on the Yankees' regular season performance and previews the team's chances in the AL wildcard game on Tuesday night. Don't miss the season finale of the Joe Girardi Show on a special day and time tomorrow at 7 only on Yes. Lincoln scoreboard 2-1 O's. And Matt Wieters leads off the bottom of the fourth, swings at the first pitch and grounds it foul. Well, the same old story in the top of the fourth inning. The Yankees have been unable to plate the big run. And that's why they've lost 5 of the first 6 games of the week. And have pushed themselves to the brink of not having the wild card at home.
Left 6 men on base in the first 4 innings here.
The 0-2, 1-2. Well, they're shifting for Wieters as a dead pull in the infield with 3 infielders on the right side. Gregorius playing shallow right field. 2-2. Wieters had the 2-run single just inside the right field line in the first inning, accounting for the 2 Oriole runs. He scored Parra and Davis with that hit. And the 2-2. Foul back. Now, Showalter was talking today during his press conference about how people have talked about maybe outlawing the shift. He goes, that shouldn't be what's done. The hitter should learn how to hit against the shift. And he brought up the wishbone in football. He said you don't see the wishbone that much because defense has finally got it, how to stop it. He goes, if people start hitting the other way, there won't be any shifts.
I especially feel when you're leading off innings, you should know how to do it. Maneuver the bat. Learn how to handle it. I'm not saying that everybody should become like Tony Gwynn or as proficient as he was hitting the ball hard anywhere. But there was not going to be a shift against Tony Gwynn. But I think it's a combination of things where strikeouts don't mean that much anymore. And everybody's up there trying to pull the ball and go for homers.
Three-two. Wrapped into right center field. It'll be in there for a base hit. Cutting over is Beltran. Wieters is going for two. The throw is not in time. A double for Wieters to start off the fourth.
Well, the key for Wieters in that at bat, he kept fouling off the tough pitches. He finally got one he could handle. This one's up a little bit, and he runs it to the gap, and now the race is on. Beltran gets the ball in pretty well, but Wieters is in with the two-base hit. And if indeed this is his last game as an Oriole, he's 2 for 2. That's his 14th double of the year.
Well, here's Steve Pearce now with a runner on second and nobody out. Pearce popped to second. That was in the first. Orioles lead 2-1, looking to extend that lead. 1-0. Giving away Steve Pearce bobbleheads today. Swing and a miss.
Took something off that breaking ball. 82 miles an hour. Pearson well out in front. Pineda trying to pitch around a leadoff double.
1-1 pitch. Fouled away. Wieters leads off second. Pineda gets the sign from McCann. Finally sees one he likes. And the big right-hander deals. Line drive down the left field line. It's a foul ball. Just foul.
We talked about this yesterday with Pearce on top of the plate. He's looking to pull the ball to begin with, but he hits a lot of balls just foul. Oh, man. Maybe a yard foul. Down the third base line. He had about 4 or 5 of those yesterday.
One, 2. 2-2. Chris Capuano getting loose. Bottom of the fourth inning, Astros and the Diamondbacks still tied at 1. Battling Pierce. Pierce deep in the box, crowds the plate, hands over the plate. And the 2-2 missed low, so Pierce has worked the count full.
There's what Michael's talking about. You can see as the toe hole he's dug against the back line. Hitters like to get as far back as possible. Gives you that split second longer to look over a pitch and get the barrel of the bat to it.
Line to left field. Gardner's there. He'll make the play as Wieters heads back to second. So Pineda wins that battle. And that'll bring up Steve Clevenger as McCann went out to talk with Pineda.
You talked about all of Pineda's mannerisms. Now I'm watching him, and you're right. He's always moving. The only time he comes set is before he delivers the ball.
He's a very muted Mark Fidrich. And for you younger viewers, used to pitch for the Tigers, was a sensation in the 70s for 1 year really, and talked to the baseball, got on his knees and manicured the mound, and what a show. Mark the Bird Fidrich.
His antics, I will tell you this, were not really, well, the opposition wasn't really enamored with what he was doing after. But he won ball games.
Diamondbacks now lead 2-1, bottom of the fourth inning. So the scores are the same for the Yankees and the O's and the Diamondbacks and the Astros. You have to give credit to the Astros because they've played very well this week. They've had to win games, and they've done that. This is a young team that's never really been in a playoff situation, and each game has been like a playoff game for them.
I think out in the Western Division, they have actually been in first place the longest as far as terms of number of days, but they gave that up.
There's a strike, 3-1 on Clevenger.
Their in-state rival, the Texas Rangers, took first place away from them. I think the Angels did first. Then the Astros got it back, and then the Rangers took first place.
3-1. Took something off that pitch, 3-2.
Clevenger spent most of the year at AAA Norfolk, and he had a good year down there. He hit over 300 and made the All-Star team.
No, it's interesting you said that the league didn't like what Fidrich was doing. Did they think that he was just showboating or showing them up?
Oops. In those days, it was just weird what he was doing. And it was more or less just throw the ball and try and get us out. We don't need all that other stuff.
Swing and a miss. A big strikeout for Pineda. 2 away.
That's strikeout number 5 in the fourth in the last 2 innings. Remember, he had fallen behind 3 balls and no strikes. You know, I think back to the Fidrich pitched twice against the Orioles that year. And he beat us in Detroit, and our guys were yelling at him, when he gets to Baltimore, we got something for you. And we did beat him in Baltimore.
I remember a night on a Monday night he faced the Yankees. It used to be Monday Night Baseball on ABC. And it was a phenomenon what he became that year. He hurt his shoulder eventually.
Yeah, it was a shame. Because it looked like he was ticketed to have a superstar type career.
1-1 on Hardy. Runner remains at second. Wieters led off the inning with a double. Pineda trying to pitch out of it. And a strike, 1-2.
Pineda trying to pitch around a leadoff double. Seems like Wieters been out there at second base for a long time. That's where the Yankees want to keep him.
The 1-2. Our very own Jack Curry just texted me that you were 3 for 9 against Mark the Bird Fidrich.
So he must have that could have been over 2 games. Yeah. I did my part.
Runner at second. 2 outs, a 1-2 count on Hardy. It's 2-1 Orioles. Pineda about to throw his 82nd pitch of the game. And this one's high. So at 82 in the fourth, you know the Yankee bullpen is going to be very involved in this game. And you wonder how Girardi will employ them. He said today that Betances not available because he pitched 4 of the last 5 days. So you see Capuano up now. Two balls, 2 strikes, 2 outs. Runner at second.
Wieters not the fastest of runners out at second base.
Grounded up the middle and through for a base hit. Wieters coming home. Ellsbury flips the ball in. It's an RBI single for Hardy, and it's 3-1 Orioles.
Looked like Ackley had a chance to at least knock that down. The ball got underneath his glove and on into the outfield for the base hit.
And that is going to do it for Pineda. With Flaherty due up.
Here's a look at it. Ackley looked like the ball went between his glove and his body and on into the outfield for the hit.
And Girardi makes the Verizon call to the bullpen. He's going to call on the veteran lefty Chris Capuano with a runner on first, 2 outs. hits, 3 runs. The runner on first, his responsibility. He didn't walk a batter, struck out 5. 83 pitches, and now Texas taking a 3-2 lead over the Angels in the bottom of the 5th inning. And Adrian Beltre with a 2-run home run for Texas. And now Joe Girardi goes to Chris Capuano.
Well, Capuano in here to face the left-handed hitting Flaherty. Another pitcher's up in the Yankee bullpen, a right-hander. As you got Reimold on deck. This could be a one-hitter situation for Capuano. Trying to get the Yankees out of it here in the bottom of the 4th inning.
And the pitch to Flaherty. A strike. 0-1. Brian Mitchell is up in the Yankee bullpen. Top of the 5th, Arizona still leads the Astros 2-1. Grounded off of Capuano, right to Ackley, and past Ackley, and into right field. Hardy will stop at 3rd. Flaherty goes to 2nd. And his runners on 2nd and 3rd and 2 outs.
This is an unusual play because I thought Ackley had a shot at it. First of all, looked like off the foot. The ball hits and maybe took an erratic bounce away from Ackley. Maybe a lot of spin on it. He couldn't handle it. And the inning continues.
And that has scored a double.
Wow.
Now they will intentionally walk Reimold to load the bases. So they load the bases to take their chance with Parra.
By the way, with that hit, Flaherty breaks an 0 for 20.
Next one will be ball 4. Well, to sell this as a big at bat, I think is underselling it. Yankees are already down 2. They have an offense that can't get a big hit. The Orioles have the bases loaded. In a game they lead 3-1. And now you have Parra at the plate against Capuano with 2 outs, bases loaded. Parra with a single and a run scored in the 1st. He struck out in the 3rd.
This has been the toughest out for the Yankees in this series. Gerardo Parra.
Oh, 0-1.
In the 3 games, including this one, he's got 7 hits.
The 0-1 pitch outside of 1-1. Well, baseball is certainly a game that's very difficult to predict. You're in the 4th inning of a game you really need to win, and Chris Capuano is on the mound for the Yankees to get the out.
Well, he didn't get the first left-hander. He's got a shot at another one here. But there's no place to put Parra.
And this is a pitcher that was designated for assignment multiple times and keeps turning up. The 2-1.
Again.
2-2. Top of the fifth, Arizona 2, Houston 1. Kenny, I wonder who's rooting harder for Houston to lose, the Yankees or the Angels? I think it's the Angels.
Yeah.
Because that's the Angels' ticket to get into the playoffs.
Yeah, it's the only way they're going to get in.
Yankees are in. It's just where they're playing.
Much rather be at home, though.
Two balls, two strikes, 2 outs. The pitch. Grounded up the middle and through for a base hit. 2 runs will score. Reimold goes to third. Going to second, Parra. He's out. But the Orioles score the 2 runs and they lead 5-1. So a big 2-run single for Parra. And the Yankees are now down by 4 as we go to the 5th. Well, as the Yankees had left the field, the Orioles kept Parra at second, and they asked the umpire to review this play. So they are looking at it back in New York to see if Parra was, in fact, safe at second base, which would keep the inning alive. Now, I didn't get in with the front foot there, Kenny, but did the back foot get in before the tag?
I think we're going to have a decision pretty soon here. It looks like several replays here. The crowd is cheering, and that would be an indication that the crowd thinks that he's safe. Let's see what the umpires think. Here's a look at it. Kind of difficult to tell there.
Is it enough to overturn?
Yeah.
So Showalter uses his challenge to try to keep this inning alive. Now, the reviews have been so close lately that it's hard to overturn, because is it enough? It has to be clear cut. Let's see, they look like they're about to take off the headset. And he's out, so that call stands. That's a big call for the Yankees, rather than have to face Manny Machado with runners on second and third and 2 outs. All right, so let's go to the studio now. Bob Lorenz has an update on another game. Bob? Did you have the scoring on the play at second, Kenny?
Now, was it Ellsbury who made the throw?
Let's see. Why don't we take a look? 8-5-6, I believe.
8-5-6. All right. There's the base hit. 2 runners scoring. There's Parra headed for second. And there's a throw that got him. We see the tail end. Very, very close. But Parra is called out, and the decision stands.
Now the Astros have tied the Diamondbacks 2-2. And Evan Gattis drives in a run with a fielder's choice. So the Yankees down now 5-1 as we go to the 5th inning. And Bob has another update back in the studio. Robert? Right here, 5-1 Yankees trail on the Bigelow T scoreboard. I'll tell you, Kenny, not the time or place for it, but Adrian Beltre is going to make a case for being a Hall of Famer one day.
There's no doubt in my mind he's got a definite shot at it. 400 career home runs. Not that many third basemen represented in the Hall of Fame.
Pitch to Gardner's a strike.
And a Gold Glove third baseman, too.
And look how he's come up big this week with 12 ribbies, as Bob said, in 6 games. One and one on Gardner.
And Tillman's fastball is made to look much faster than the 90-91 that he throws because of the slow curveball that he has. If he gets that over, that's what makes him tough.
High fly ball. Center field. Reimold back. Will make the play for the first out of the 5th. So 1 down. That brings up A-Rod, who walked in the 1st and grounded to 3rd in the 3rd. One and 0 to A-Rod.
Tillman out there with a little bit of a cushion to work with. Been walking a tightrope for the first 4 innings. 2 left on in the 1st, 1 in the 2nd, 1 in the 3rd, and 2 in the 4th. And the only time it gave up a run was in the 2nd.
Two and 2 on Alex. Lights have been on here at Camden Yards all game. Been an overcast weekend.
Starting to see some blues.
A little bit.
Yeah, some blue sky up
First
there.
of the weekend. A little blue there, less gray for sure, but still the sun a rumor all weekend. Check swing, did he go? No, he did not. So A-Rod works a 1-out walk, and we have another update from Bob Lorenz. All right, here it's 5-1. Orioles, top of the 5th inning. And Carlos Beltran at the plate. He's 1 for 1 with a walk. A-Rod's at first, held there by Davis. Shift is on for Beltran. 3 infielders on the right side. Well, the Yankees need the big blow to feel as if they're back in this game, and they have lived and died by the home run all year. When they don't hit home runs, they don't score many runs.
And you hit any in the first 2 games.
Now Wieters wants to go talk with Tillman.
The pitch count's getting up there 85. Starting to do some stretching in the Orioles bullpen.
This copyrighted telecast is presented by authority of the New York Yankees and may not be reproduced or retransmitted in any form, and the accounts and descriptions of this game may not be disseminated without the express written consent of the New York Yankees. Stretching, stirring out there in the Orioles bullpen. One of the things that Tillman believes a starter should do is give his team at least 200 innings. Last year, 207 and a third, but coming into this game, 167 and 2/3, and that's a great disappointment to him. 3-0, turned him loose, and he rips it foul. Trying to get a 2-run home run there with 1 swing.
By him swinging served notice to Tillman. He should be a little bit more careful. That ball was ripped. And he comes back and makes a pitcher's pitch over the outside corner. Beltran, the veteran hitter that he is, you're going to have to do it again.
Fly ball shallow left, and that is going to dunk in for a base hit. A-Rod will stop at second, so a single for Beltran.
It wasn't the best of hits, but it was a good adjustment by Beltran. Tillman tried to go right back out there again to the outside corner. Beltran just slashes it the other way. The defense is pulled around. And Manny Machado, who was also pulled around, he's playing more of a shortstop position. That ball dropped in for a base hit off the end of the bat. But, you notice he's smiling because it's a base hit.
Here's McCann, 0 for his last 20. He's 0 for 2 in this game. And a strike to McCann. One and one, so runners on first and second, 1 out. 5-1 Baltimore in the top of the 5th. Yankees 3 for 24 with runners in scoring position this series. 1-1. Looks like he's going to be 3 for 25 as Hardy makes the play for the second out. Here's Greg Bird. He's 1 for 2, doubled and scored. The Yankees' lone run, that was in the second, and then struck out leading off the 4th. A-Rod at second, Beltran at first, the two veterans. Yankees down by 4. Rookie Greg Bird at the plate. Goes the other way into the second deck and then down into the lower stands, 0-2.
It's interesting how they play Bird as opposed to the other left-hand hitters like Beltran. Straight up, just about all over the field. It's the way the positions were originally laid out.
And the 0-2. Swing and a miss. 75 miles an hour, Bird way out in front. No runs a hit, no errors, and 2 men left at the end of 4 1/2. Halfway through, 5-1-0s. Baseball returns to Yes with the first of 2 preseason games at Barclays Center. And mark your calendars for Wednesday, October 28th, as Brooke Lopez and company open up the regular season at home against the Chicago Bulls, only on Yes. New pitcher for the Yankees, Brian Mitchell, comes in for the bottom of the 5th on the Big LT scoreboard. It's 5-1-0s. Mitchell against Machado. This will be his 20th game. He's made 2 starts for the Yankees. Strikeout per inning. Too many base runners, though, in 29 innings. His deals outside.
And a strong young arm.
Two and one. Kenny, got some specifics on the Burley start, giving up 9 runs in the first inning.
Gotcha.
This was the second time that Burley had started in 3 days. And the only reason they did it was he needed 2 innings to become just the 5th big leaguer to pitch 200 or more innings in 15 consecutive seasons.
So they thought he would get it in his previous start, and he didn't do it.
Right.
Yeah.
So they gave it to him here, which I don't understand the pomp and circumstance for a game that you really would like to win. Anyway, he was victimized by 2 errors in the first inning, led to 8 unearned runs over 5 hits, and he was taken out after 2/3 of an inning, a career low. He had gone 6 2/3 innings Friday night to pick up his 15th win.
So he didn't get the 200.
No. He fell an inning and a third short, and Toronto's going to lose home field advantage. And the Royals are winning anyway, so kind of a moot point. That one is drilled deep to left field. Fair ball, it's gone. It is foul.
Manny kind of hung around home plate, and a lot of times the hitter knows when he's hooked it too much. And lately Manny would know. There's a hanging breaking ball. So he's trying to steer it. Up, he knows. But 5 home runs his last 4 games. And you thought Bo knew.
Machado walks. Now we have a big update from Phoenix. Here's Bob Lorenz. All right, right here, the Yankees down 5-1, bottom half of the 5th. And Machado with the leadoff walk as Davis now digs in against Mitchell. Chop foul.
The thing about Davis that makes him such a prolific home run hitter, it's not only the power, it's his ability to power the ball out of the ballpark anywhere. And I remember years ago, Tony Perez, who's now Hall of Famer, used to say a real home run hitter can reach any fence.
One and one.
And Tony Perez certainly could reach any fence.
Friday's game was rained out. Day-night doubleheader yesterday. Orioles took both games. And now here's the 162nd game of the season for both teams. The 1-2 runner goes. And that one's drilled deep to left center field. Going back, Gardner looking up. See ya. A 2-run home run for Chris Davis. And the Orioles now lead 7-1.
Number 46.
We said power anywhere, Kenny.
Yeah. I'll tell you what, Michael, if he's not playing for the Orioles next year, he's going to miss this ballpark. The most valuable Oriole this year and one of the fan favorites in town, but they kind of know he's not coming back.
Wieters lost one down the left field line, but that makes the seats.
Here's a look. That's kind of up and out over the plate. And he uses his opposite field stroke. Looks like that's in the bullpen.
He now has a 2-home run lead over the Mariners' Nelson Cruz for the American League home run title. Cruz won it last year.
A couple of years ago, Davis set the club record with 53 homers.
you have to love Mitchell's arm, but it has not translated into outs.
He's still learning how to pitch. I mean, he's a raw talent, if you will. He's got a good fastball. You see it 95 to 97. His breaking ball can be sharp, but in this league, if you throw it in the wrong spot, you've got hitters who can turn it around, just like Davis did. He's not the only one.
Wieters fouls away. It's going to be very intriguing to see how the Yankees map out their bullpen first for the wild card game, because all of these guys that are quote unquote kind of having auditions, they're not doing well.
No.
So not sure how they'll go. James Pazos is warming right now.
Well, we know 3 spots that are locked up.
Yep. Broken back, ground ball to first. Bird makes the play. 1 away, and Adam Warren will be the 4th one.
Oh, yep. Let's not leave Adam out.
And there's some talk that, CC Sabathia could be on that roster for the wild card to be a left-hander out of the bullpen. He would essentially serve Shreve's role. Tanaka will start the game. The only question is, will he throw the first pitch of the game or pitch in the bottom of the first? That gets by McCann. Tanaka's ready for the start. He said he's excited about the start. Feels 100% physically.
Saw Tanaka coming into the clubhouse this morning, and he greeted me with a good morning. So I threw a Ohio gozaimasu at him. And he smiled. Good morning in Japanese.
Three and 1 on Pierce, who's 0 for 2 in this game. Fastball fouled away, and the count is full at 3 and 2.
We keep talking about Wieters and Davis and Chan. Parra is free agent. So is Steve Pierce, and he's been a fairly important piece of the puzzle for the Orioles. Certainly last year, when they were winning division, got a chance to play more regularly. Came out with a lot of big hits. This year, not as many.
And he works a walk against Mitchell. And that will bring up Clevenger. And let's see if Girardi goes to Pazos. And that's exactly what Girardi's going to do. So we'll bring on the rookie left-hander, James Pazos. Mitchell gives up 2 runs. The runner at first base, his responsibility. started for the Yanks and lasted 2 outs into the 4th, and Chris Capuano came on to get that final out, which was actually achieved on the bases. Brian Mitchell started the 5th inning. A walk to Machado, a long home run to Chris Davis. Got an out, then walked Pierce, so he's done. And now they bring in the lefty James Pazos to face Steve Clevenger.
Another young pitcher with a live arm. And for the most part, Pazos has been pretty good coming out of the bullpen for the Yankees. And Buck Showalter's going to continue with the left-handed hitting Clevenger.
So Pierce is at first. This week cannot be too pleasant for Joe Girardi. Team not hitting, pitchers not pitching effectively, and in danger of losing 6 of their final 7 games in the final week of the season. Pitch is high. The only solace they could find in the bottom of the 6th inning in Arizona, the Diamondbacks lead the Astros 3-2. Past Ackley and into right field. So a base hit for Clevenger as Pierce moves to second.
Right down the middle, hit hard by Clevenger. So lefty on lefty, and Clevenger wins the battle.
And now here's the right-handed J.J. Hardy against Pazos. First and second, 1 out, 7-1 O's. 1-0. One and one, 1 out, 2 on. 7-1 O's, bottom of the 5th. 2 runs already in. Pazos on a relief of Brian Mitchell. 1-1. Misses outside, 2-1.
You know, you look at the numbers for Hardy this year, and barely over 200. Only 8 homers. A lot of time on the DL. Just things didn't work out this year. It goes all the way back to spring training when he collided with Jonathan Scope near the end of spring training and went immediately on a DL. Hasn't really gotten it together this year.
Waves at that one, and he's down on strikes. 2 away.
Pazos got him to chase a breaking ball. Slider down and in, and a wayward swing by Hardy.
Strike to Ryan Flaherty. He doubled off the foot of Capuano in the 4th inning.
That just sounds funny when you say that.
It looked weird.
Yeah, it did.
Carried out toward Ackley, who could not make the play. Got past him in the right field. Double. 0-2. Strike three. Flaherty down looking. But 2 more runs for the O's on 2 hits, 2 walks, and 2 men left. 5 in the books. 7-1 Baltimore. Sixth inning, and Chase Headley faces Tillman. Bounced up there 1-0. Well, these games all started around 3:05, 3:10. So the Astros have some heat off them if they see fly ball deep left. Going back, Pierce on the track, and he makes the play at the wall. If they see the Angels lose, Kenny, they'd still be playing for home field in the wild card, but they wouldn't be playing for their playoff lives.
Mm-hmm.
Ackley slices one to left field in front of Pierce for base hit. So Ackley is 2 for 3 with an RBI. Has a triple and a single.
Ackley's had a good day with the bat. Maybe not as much with the glove, but triple and single. It's 2 for 3.
Left-hander T.J. McFarland warming for the O's.
Next pitch will be number 100 for Tillman. And that's usually when the alarm bells go off in every dugout.
In this era.
Yeah.
Juan Marichal or Bob Gibson would laugh at you. They're just warming up. That's how the 100 pitches break down.
Yeah, you give you an example. It's the famous game that Marichal pitched against Warren Spahn. Ended 1-0 in a 16-inning game. They both went the distance. And the manager of the Giants was going to take Marichal out. He says, "I'm not coming out until that old man comes out." And Warren Spahn was 42 years old and pitched a complete game, lost 1-0. Made his next start 4 days later, not 5 days later, and threw a shutout. Different times.
Somewhere along the way, it's all changed. That one is wrapped into left center field. Long run for Reimold. He dives and he can't make the play. Ackley's being waved home. And Gregorius slides into third with an RBI triple. And now the Orioles are up 7-2.
Both Yankee triples have come with Reimold laying on the ground, diving. Can't quite get to this one. Gregorius runs it up the gap in left center field. Reimold with that's the third time he's laid out today. And it's 1 out of 3 that he's made the play.
Well, Buck Showalter takes the ball from Chris Tillman, who gets a nice hand from the crowd here in Baltimore. Yankees have a run in, a runner at third with 1 out, and Ellsbury due up as T.J. McFarland takes over for that man, Chris Tillman. So Tillman goes 5 1/3. This will be the 30th game for McFarland. A lot of base runners there against McFarland. He pitched very well last night. 2 perfect innings against the Yanks. Orioles will give up a run with Ellsbury at the plate. The infield is back except at third. And Ellsbury will not get in the run. He pops it up as Hardy and Machado run into each other, and Gregorius stays put. So some smiles. You can smile because the play was made. As Hardy and Machado brush up against each other. Kind of a neat thing happening in Philadelphia right now, Kenny. Ichiro Suzuki is pitching, something that he always wanted to do. He has a great arm. Right here, T.J. McFarland is pitching, and he deals inside to Gardner. (7-2) now, Texas over the Angels.
You know what? When you look at that score and you look at what happened in yesterday's game, you can't count the Angels out.
That's true. Who's going to close for Texas? They were down 4 in the 9th inning and scored 5. Yankees 3 for 27 with runners in scoring position in this 3-game set. Did he go? No, he did not. Michael Givens pitched so well yesterday, he's in the pen. Strike 2 on Gardner. Gardner has seemed very upset with a lot of strike calls in the second half of the season. He's about to toss away his bat, and umpires notice that too, and they're not going to give you the benefit of the doubt.
It was high enough when it passed the front knee.
I can't remember Brett being like that for most of his career, but he seems to be getting somewhat rankled by strike calls. 3-2. And that one's nubbed in front of the plate. Wieters will gun down Gardner, who slams down his helmet in frustration as the inning is over. The Yankees get a run on 2 hits, no errors, and 1 man left on base. The speedy Gardner is gunned down by Wieters, and he is upset as he fires his helmet down angrily, and we go to the bottom of the 6th. Owner of the Angels feels that Josh Hamilton will be going to the playoffs, and you're paying him.
Yeah, that's true. It's more than just a few bucks.
No, it's a lot of money. A lot of money. Here's Reimold against Pazos. Inside 1-0. And that stems from Hamilton getting suspended.
Yep.
And Moreno and the Angels kind of hinting that they didn't want to pay the rest of that salary. And
the arbitrator?
The arbitrator said, well, you have to. And just wanted to get him out of there. And pretty much is paying his entire salary. And he's playing for the Texas Rangers.
He's back with a team that he left as a free agent and had won an MVP. And he's had some contributions down the stretch here for the Rangers. After a couple of injuries, I think he was on a DL with a hamstring.
(3-0). And Raimo walks on 4 pitches from Pazos. Here is Parra. And Andrew Bailey's up in the Yankee bullpen. Pitch upstairs, and McCann wants to talk with Pazos.
I know Davis has a 2-run homer today, and one of the big hits that the Orioles have gotten. Wieters with a couple, with a single in the first inning. But Parra, this whole series, just been a pain in the neck for the Yankees.
2 for 3 today. Had 5 hits yesterday. And the count 2-0. (2-1) on Parra.
It's interesting. We mentioned all the free agents. This applies to all free agents on a lot of teams. Have a tendency to gravitate towards the better teams they think can win.
Fly ball left field. Gardner is there for the first out.
It's and the teams that sometimes offer them the most money, but it's usually you're looking for a combination of the both.
Well, the Yankees will go to Andrew Bailey as Machado is due up. Girardi goes to the bullpen. Quest for a 28th World Series title every step of the way. Tuesday night, Don't miss the Tri-State Ford Yankees pregame show as we get you set for the American League Wild Card game. Coverage begins at 7 p.m. right here on Yes, the network that knows the Bombers best. Also, Yes going to have post-game coverage following the Wild Card game and pre-post-game shows before and after every playoff game as the Yankees move along. So Bailey will appear in his 10th game. Machado's 0 for 2 with a walk and a run scored. Takes the pitch low, 1-0.
Good stop by McCann.
The 2-0. 3-0. Ackley shades up the middle for the righty swinging Machado. Headley deep at third, fairly close to the line. 3-0. They turn him loose. There's a fly ball to shallow left field. Gardner makes the play on the run. Now fires to first. And the throw hit Reimold. Otherwise, it would have been very, very close.
And I think what happened on that play, Machado swung at it, hit it, and Gardner, the way Machado's been hitting, he thought it was going to go a lot further than it was. Had to really come on. And only with someone with the speed of Gardner was able to make the play, throwing on the run. And the ball hits Reimold in the hand, or else there might have been a play on him at first base. Sometimes those big hitters, they hit those off the end of the bat. You take that false step back, and you have to hustle to make the play.
So the O's up 7-2. They give the green light to Machado on 3-0. Here's Chris Davis, who is 2 for 3 with a double and a 2-run home run. He has 2 runs scored. The home run is 46th of the year. He leads the American League. 0-1.
You know, at the end of the year, they have all kinds of statistics, and every once in a while you run into one, the hitters that have the most swings and misses, and I guarantee you Davis is up there because of all the strikeouts. But they also nowadays have exit velo, and that is, shows you, you know, the miles per hour when the ball hits the bat. He's got to be up there on that as well.
The 0-2 outside, 1-2. Fouled away. One ball, 2 strikes. We're in the bottom of the 6th. It's 7-2 O's over the Yanks. The Astros have tied up the Diamondbacks 3-3 in the top of the 7th inning. So where that game on Tuesday will be played, going down to the wire. Two and two. Yankees win, it's at Yankee Stadium. Astros lose, it's at Yankee Stadium. One of those two things. It's not more complicated than that, but it seems very complicated for the Yankees this week. They've lost 5 of 6 games, and their offense has stalled. 2 balls, 2 strikes, 2 outs. The pitch. 3-2, so that will release Reimold at first. Runner goes, pitch inside. So Davis walks. Let's check in with Bob for an update. Well, the Yankees lost a game yesterday on a wild pitch by Dylan Betances, and now the Astros tied the game on a wild pitch. Here's Matt Wieters with runners on first and second and 2 outs. Yankee dugout is on the third base side, and it directly looks at the big scoreboard, which is the right field wall here at Camden Yards. And Joe Girardi has seen that 3 go up. Now it's 3-3, top of the 7th.
You know, sometimes you see the indicator that says whether it's the top or the bottom of the inning.
Right.
And when the team that you don't want to score, you see them up for a long, long time. It seems like forever that indicator is up there that they're hitting. And that kind of tells you something's going on. In this case, when it goes to the bottom half of the inning in Arizona, said you hope it stays on forever, because that tells you that they're doing something in their half of the inning.
Remember, Joe Torre was asked when he was Yankee manager, do you scoreboard watch? And he said, honestly, I mean, how could you not? The scores are pretty big out there. I mean, also, it's what you do for a living. It impacts what you do. Why wouldn't you look to see the score?
Yeah, I'm telling you, Mike, I used to, from opening day, I used to look at the scoreboard, look at what the other teams in the division were doing.
You know, bluntly put, the Yankees are not doing their part. They are not carrying their end of the bargain, so they've got to root on Arizona to do the job for them. Two. Broken back, ground ball to first. Bird is there, and Bailey gets the final 2 outs of the 6th. No runs, no hits, no errors, and 2 men left on base. Yankees running out of time. We go to the 7th. They're down by 5.
fielder for the Baltimore Orioles is going to be David Lowe taking over. Nolan Reimold is now out of the ball game.
So Alex Rodriguez will lead this off. It'll be A-Rod, Beltran, and McCann against McFarland, who got the final 2 outs of the 6th. Breaking ball outside, 1-0. 7-2. Orioles lead the Yanks. Well, A-Rod has walked twice today, grounded to third. His average at .251. Two and one. Dribbled slowly in front of the plate. Throw to first, they get A-Rod. I wonder if the... See, it's still 3-3 bottom of the 7th.
See the indicator there, though? That means Arizona's up, and something might be brewing. So you want that to stay there as long as possible.
Kenny, I wonder if A-Rod hit the cover off that ball. It looked very odd when it was rolling in front of the plate, and all the infielders were looking at it as they threw it around.
Did they change the ball?
Yes.
Okay.
Inside.
Let's take another look. Oh, it looks a little mud on one side.
Rounded up the middle and threw for a base hit. Hey, Kenny, nobody could blame Carlos Beltran for this offensive malaise. 3 hits and a walk today. He's been their best hitter, really, consistently since May when he had the awful April, but he's turned it around, and he's been a rock for them. And obviously, October's always been a very good month for him.
So maybe it's up to the rest of the guys to take him as deep into October as they can.
McCann ends his slump with a base hit to right center. Beltran will stop at second. That ends an 0 for 21 for McCann, and also sends us back to Bob Lorenz for an update. Wow, what a big home run for the Yankees as Goldschmidt gives the Astros a 5-3 lead. That is gigantic. Now let's see if the Diamondback bullpen.
Yeah.
I said the Astros. It gives the Diamondbacks a 5-3 lead. Let's see if the Diamondbacks bullpen could hold on.
I think Goldschmidt's having a heck of a year.
Yes, he is.
I think that's his 33rd home run. He's just one of the most dynamic hitters in baseball, and you don't hear much about him.
Strike to Bird. Grounded up the middle and a base hit for Bird. Beltran rounds third. He'll score without a throw. Moving to second is McCann. The Yankees aren't done yet. has the trail by a score of 7-3.
Bird's second hit of the game. He has scored a run and now driven in one. Solid smash. Flaherty with a dive, can't come up with it. Beltran, who got it started with the one-out single, comes in to score. And McFarland backing up home. And he's gone.
So Showalter will take the ball from McFarland. He's going to go to the bullpen. Yankees have runners on first and second. One out, they're down by 4. His bat alive. He was 0 for his first 3, 0 for his last 21, but it gets a single to keep the inning alive, and then Bird singles up the middle of the drive and a run, make it 7-3. Knock McFarland out. They bring in the right-hander Brad Brock to face Chase Headley.
McCann, of course, the leading run producer on the Yankees this year with 94 runs batted in. Here's Brad Brock. Got an unusual delivery and a powerful fastball. 89 strikeouts in 78 2/3 innings. It seems like, Michael, when somebody comes out of the bullpen these days, they always have more than a strikeout per inning.
So here's Chase Headley, 0 for 3 today. And there's a 94-mile-an-hour fastball strike. Crowd of 33,224 announced here at Oriole Park. Yankees have 10 hits, just like the O's. The Yankees have left 9 runners on base. They trail 7-3. We're in the top of the 7th inning in Baltimore.
You said 33,000?
33,224.
Okay, so that means Baltimore has drawn over 2,300,000 this year. Cool, good swing, man. Do that as a hitter. You want that pitch back. Just a hair quicker.
Three and two to Headley. And he walks Headley to load the bases. And just like that, the Yankees will bring up the tying run in the person of Dustin Ackley.
Well, Ackley's had a good day with the bat. Single, triple, and a run batted in.
This is Ackley's 14th start as a Yankee. And he has a triple and a single and a run scored and a ribby. Brock deals a strike outside. Yankees came into this game knowing that they could end up either playing that game in New York or somewhere in Texas, Houston or Arlington. Oh, 0-2. Just dealing fastballs, 1-2.
One right after another.
Bases loaded Yankees. One out. The 2-2. Fouled away.
Talked about fastball after fastball. This particular time, Wieters took a little bit longer with the sign, maybe trying to think, make Ackley think they're throwing something else.
Still 2-2. And the pitch. Hit sharply to short. Knocked down by Hardy. They get one. That's all they'll get. As McCann scores to make it 7-4. So another ribby for Ackley. He reaches on the fielder's choice. Headley's out at second, 6-4.
Tough hop for Hardy to handle. He knocks it down. He's going to get the force at second. Plenty of time there to get Headley. But they lose a chance for the double play.
Well, congratulations to the Texas Rangers. That game is over. The Rangers have won the West 9-2 over the Angels. So they bounce back after a potentially devastating loss yesterday. We always talk about it, Kenny. Momentum only goes as far as the next day's starting pitcher.
This is an everyday game, more or less, baseball, and whether you win or lose, you got to turn the page very quickly. If you lose it, come back tomorrow night, try for a better outcome.
That's an impressive rebound by the Rangers.
And even if you win, I mean, you got to try and keep that momentum going the next day.
Yep.
Gregorius, like Ackley's had himself a pretty good day with a double, a triple, and a walk. He's been on base 3 times.
Let's go to Bob real quick for an update. Bob. Thank you, Bob. Hamels has been great for them. Here's the 2-2 to Gregorius outside. And when they got Hamels, Kenny, most people thought, well, this is a deal for next year. where Hamels will pair up with Yu Darvish and have a great 1-2 at the top of the rotation, but they got it done this year. Runner will go from first. 3-2. Popped up. Hardy is there, and that will do it to end this inning. But the Yankees creep closer. 2 runs on 3 hits and 2 men left on base at the end of 6.5. It's time for the 7th inning stretch here at Camden Yards, and we'll stay right where we are to honor America in Baltimore.
And with the support of Orioles catcher Matt Wieters and first baseman Chris Davis, we are joined today by military members representing the Army and the Marine Corps from Operation Homefront. We thank them for their service. In honor of our country and all the brave men and women who serve our nation and defend our freedom, we ask that you please rise and join Sergeant First Class Randy White in singing God Bless America.
God bless America, land that I love. Stand beside her and guide her through the night with light from above. From the mountains to the prairies, to the oceans white with foam. God bless America, my home, sweet home. God bless America, my home, sweet.
It's going to be Brandon Pinder taking over for Andrew Bailey. This will be Pinder's 25th game. And he'll face Pierce, Clevenger, and Hardy. As the guys talked about in the studio, the Yankees have had their opportunities. They have not been able to cash in on enough of those opportunities, but the game's certainly within striking distance as we start the bottom of the 7th inning.
The Yankees have left men on base in every inning.
Total of 11. The Orioles have left 7. Each team with 10 hits. The O's lead 7-4. Popped up and out of play. They're in the bottom of the check that top of the 8th inning in Arizona, and the Diamondbacks lead the Astros 5-3. 2 outs, a runner on first base for the Astros. Shattered bat, a ground ball to Gregorius. He gets Peters for the first out. And that brings up Steve Clevenger. Clevenger is 1 for 3.
5 pitchers out of the Yankee bullpen today.
Foul back. All right, so the top of the 8th inning is over in Arizona, and the Diamondbacks lead 5-3. Pinder works from the stretch and deals. 1-2.
Another live arm out of the pen. 94-95 for Pinder consistently.
Kansas City leads Minnesota 6-1 top of the 9th, and Tampa Bay leads Toronto 12-1 top of the 9th as Clevenger fouls it away. And the pitch. Popped up. Gregorius is there, and he puts it away for the second out. And another update from Bob Lorenz. Bob. So 3 more outs to go, and the Yankees can play that wild card game in the Bronx. Here's J.J. Hardy.
So Arizona using their closer in the 8th inning.
Yep.
Yeah, Ziegler's in there in the 8th.
Wrapped into left center field. Long run for Ellsbury. He will not get there. It splits the outfielders and it goes to the wall. Hardy with a double with 2 outs here in the 7th. He's 2 for 4.
Now, we mentioned over the years we see J.J. Hardy's a good high fast ball hitter. Anything belt high or around the letters, somehow he can get on top of it. And there it is around the letters. If it's up near that O, he can make it go, and he runs it into the gap in left center. This guy been bothered by injuries all season long.
Flaherty takes high. Flaherty is 1 for 3. Fly ball to center. A double off of Capuano's foot, and then he struck out looking. That one's popped up. Headley's there, and a nice inning for Brendan Pinder. No runs to hit, no errors, 1 man left. We go to the 8th inning. 7-4-0s. Imagine you win 98 games and you have to face Jake Arrieta. Here's Darren O'Day, and this could be his final game for the Baltimore Orioles. He's another one of their many free agents, and boy, what a season he has had.
Yeah, an all-star season. Opponents hitting just .201. You see by the way he throws the ball, and Yankees fans have seen him over the years.
Here's Ellsbury, 0 for 4. The thing that has taken O'Day to the next level is he's able to get out lefties now. Usually guys that do the sidewinding from one side can't get out the opposite side. He's been able to do it. So he's taken his game to another level. And Showalter speaks unbelievably effusively about him. He said not only is he a good pitcher, he's a better person. He said, I'm so glad that he's developed into this type of performer. He's been great for him.
Yeah, one of the leaders out of the bullpen for the Orioles over the last few years. As I mentioned, made the all-star team this year. And here's the motion we were talking about. And as Michael said, it's very difficult for right-handers, number one, to pick him up and then hit. But as Michael also said, he's been effective against lefties because he makes good pitches.
Ellsbury, fly ball to right. Parra is there to put it away for the first out of the 8th. Here's Brett Gardner. Gardner's 0 for 4 today, and he takes a strike from O'Day.
You know, Michael, we noted, I guess you can go back to July. Both Gardner and Ellsbury really rolling. Here's the delivery on Yes Mo, brought to you by your Mercedes-Benz Tri-State dealer. You look at what Ellsbury's been 0 for 5 today. Gardner's 0 for 4. Neither one of them has gotten on base. When the team was really rolling, so were they. They were setting the table, giving the opportunities to the hitters like A-Rod and Beltran and McCann to drive in runs. But lately, you mentioned Gardner since the All-Star break. This is going to have to turn around. The Yankees get in the postseason. These guys are going to have to get going. And sometimes that does happen, where a team gets energized by being in the playoffs themselves, and things start going in the other direction.
And everything gets reset to 0.
Exactly. And whoever gets hot for a period of 2-3 weeks, they could be the last team standing.
Swing and a miss. Gardner down on strikes. Here's Alex. 2 walks today, 0 for 2. Fly ball, shallow right. Parra is there, and the Yankees go down in order. 1, 2, 3 in the 8th. We go to the bottom of the 8th. Orioles lead this one 7-4. Baltimore on the Hyundai scoreboard. It's 7-4 Orioles. They're in the 9th inning in Arizona, and the Diamondbacks lead 5-3. The Diamondbacks have the leadoff runner on with Altuve at the plate and nobody out. You know, before we get to the end of this game, as Justin Wilson comes on, and I want to remind everybody that yes, he's going to be with you every step of the way as far as the Yankees go in the playoffs, pre and post games, and we know the Yankees better than anybody else, so you make sure before and after each game you're with us to have us break it down for you. But this marks the end of the 14th season of the Yes Network, and it's been an unbelievable ride for the two of us who've been here since the very beginning. David Lowe leads off, and we want to thank everybody back in the studio that worked so hard to put the pre and post games on, and all the cut-ins that you see, and the guys and gals that work with us here on the road and also at home that do everything to make us look better. We can't thank them enough, and it's all put together by our esteemed leader, John J. Filippelli. And we're going to have a rollout toward the end of the show where you'll see everybody's name. I don't want to leave anybody out, but thank you to everybody for what they do and the hard work they put in, and the countless hours and the early mornings and the late nights and the late trips and things like that. Thank you to everybody here at Yes.
Yeah, we couldn't get it done without you. And in fact, there's a lot of people behind the scenes. You get to hear our voices, but you wouldn't without them.
Fly ball down the left field line. Long run for Gardner. And it's in the seats. John Ryan Murphy takes over behind the plate for McCann. Astros threatening now in the 9th inning, first and second, nobody out. And they trail 5-3 to the Diamondbacks. A lot riding on that game for the Yanks. The 1-2. 2-2. And the pitch. Swing and a miss, low. Down on strikes.
As we mentioned the other day, when Wilson comes out of bullpen, he usually brings strikeouts with him. He only gets to face one guy. And what does he do? He strikes him out.
And we just see George Springer bang into a double play. So runner at third base, 2 outs for the Astros. Come on back to find out both scores. The Diamondbacks, who salvaged one game of that 3-game set, that's all the Yankees needed or to win one of these 3 games. So far, that hasn't happened. So the Yankees will have baseball in the Bronx on Tuesday against the Houston Astros. And in all likelihood, Kenny, it's going to be Masahiro Tanaka against Dallas Keuchel. And hasn't been announced by the Astros, but Keuchel will be pitching on 3 days rest for the first time in his career.
And we'll have to see how that works out. But still a good matchup with Tanaka and Keuchel. Keuchel certainly a candidate for Cy Young Award winner in the American League.
Andrew Miller takes over for Justin Wilson as Joe wants to get him some work before Tuesday. Didn't pitch Friday, didn't have to pitch yesterday.
As you mentioned, the Yankees are looking at the scoreboard from their dugout. Plain sight. And they can see the final score out there.
And you can hear the cheers of some of the Yankee fans here at Camden Yards when they see that. Just a smattering of applause. And for the Astros, it was kind of bittersweet. They wanted to have the game at Minute Maid, but they also clinched their first postseason appearance since 2005. And they exceeded everybody's expectations. They were thought to be about a year away, maybe 2, but they make the playoffs this year.
Parra is headed back to the dugout, trying to get out of the way of a pitch he thought was going to hit him, and it broke over the plate for a strike.
And the 3-2. He walks Parra. So everything in baseball is over except for this game right now. And a lot of the questions have been answered. The Texas Rangers win the West. The Astros are the second wild card. Pittsburgh will be hosting Chicago in the wild card game in the National League on Wednesday. The Mets will start their series against the Dodgers at Dodger Stadium, first 2 games. And the Cardinals will wait to see who wins the wild card. So the Cardinals will play a team from their own division in the first round or the second round. Popped up. And Headley makes a play to retire Machado. Also, we know that the Kansas City Royals are going to play the winner of the wild card game in Kansas City for the first 2 games. And Joe Girardi is going to go to the bullpen again as Miller gets Machado. Davis is due up. Let's see who's coming in. recap this regular season finale, preview the wild card game, look at all the playoff matchups, and Meredith Morakovitz will get the clubhouse reaction. Plus, Joe Girardi's manager's report. That's all coming up on the W.B. Mason Yankees postgame, only on yes. So Caleb Cotham will come in for the Yankees, and it's probably the last half inning of the regular season unless the Yankees come back in the top of the ninth. Kenny, the tryouts are still going on to see who's going to make the bullpen. That's exactly what's going on here. He's the 9th pitcher used by the Yankees.
I've seen spring training games they don't use 9 pitchers.
Well, this could be Chris Davis's final at bat in Baltimore as an Oriole.
A lot of people are standing.
Parra takes off for second. He wasn't being held on, so he moves to second on defensive indifference. Allen is driven to right field. And gone. See ya. What a send-off for Chris Davis. His 47th home run, likely his last one in an Oriole uniform, and he's taking his time going around the bases. Pretty impressive final game.
What a way to go. 47 home runs.
And the pitch to Wieters is a strike. This could also be Matt Wieters, a homegrown Oriole. Final game here in Baltimore in an Oriole uniform. 9-4 Baltimore.
They are going to miss this swing.
Hey, they can certainly afford to keep him, but the Orioles do not play in the deep end of the pool when it comes to free agency. They just don't. It might take close to $200 million to keep him.
We've seen what's been going out there lately. They've seen this. They've seen this before. Wow.
So 47 home runs and 117 runs batted in. And a .262 batting average. 2-2. Grounded foul.
Where will he be next year?
Some thought he could be on the team that the Yankees going to play Tuesday.
I think that's a distinct possibility. Stay tuned.
2-2. High fly ball. Right center. Beltran's there, and that will do it. But some drama in the 8th inning for the O's. 2 runs on this swing. The second 2-run home run of the night for Chris Davis. Likely his final home run as an Oriole. Their final half inning for the O's. Signs in the crowd, we like our guys, keep them, but again, they're going to cost a lot of money, and the Orioles don't usually dabble in that sort of expenditure. Rico Noel will pinch it for Carlos Beltran, and he rolls one up the first baseline, and the play is made by Britton, who tags him on the way by. The ball went foul and then rolled fair.
Now watch this ball. Usually it's spinning clockwise and the ball will go foul. Britton actually misses the tag, and he's going to turn and throw to Davis at first for the out. Somehow that ball stayed fair, and Noel is down.
Gary Sanchez going to pinch hit for John Ryan Murphy, who had taken over for McCann behind the plate. Britton is on to close this out. Obviously not a save situation. He's had a great year for the O's. That's what Sanchez did in the minors this year. And he was looking for his first big league hit. He had his first big league at bat yesterday.
He's not facing any ordinary pitcher here. Zach Britton is a top of the line closer.
He popped out the third in the first game yesterday. That one's fouled away, 1-2.
You know, it's interesting because when Britton first came up, he was a starting pitcher. When Brian Mattis, who's also in the bullpen, came up, he was a starting pitcher. Both these guys end up in a bullpen. Britton becomes one of the better closers in the league.
One-two, swing and a miss. Sanchez down on strikes. And the Yankees down to their final out as Jose Perella will pinch hit for Greg Bird. So Bird had a good game, 2 for 4. Run scored in a ribby. And that one is grounded to second. Flaherty fields over to first. And the Orioles beat the Yankees 9-4. Yankees had an awful week, 1-6, but they accomplished both things they needed to do. They clinched their postseason berth, and the game will be played in the Bronx on Tuesday against the Astros. But when the light goes on in the playoffs, the Yankees have to hope they play a lot better than they played this week and this weekend in Baltimore. Now on to the studio. Bob Lorenz, Jack Curry, and John Flaherty will set